Hadhramaut, Hadramawt or Hadramawt is a region on the southern end of the Arabian Peninsula. The name is officially retained in Hadhramaut Governorate of the Republic of Yemen. The people of Hadhramout are called Hadhrami and speak Hadhrami Arabic. Etymology. The origin of the name Hadramawt is not exactly known, and there are numerous competing hypotheses about its meaning. The most common folk etymology is that the region's name means "death has come" from Hadara and Mort, though there are multiple explanations for how it came to be known as such. One explanation is that this is a nickname of Amr ibn Khatin, a legendary invader of the region, whose battles always left many dead. Another theory is that after the destruction of Thamud, the Islamic prophet Salih relocated himself and about 4,000 of his followers to the region, and it was there that he died, thus lending the region its morbid name, "Death has come." Hadramawt is also identified with biblical Hadhramawt. It is the name of a son of Joktan, the ancestor of the South Arabian kingdoms. According to various Bible dictionaries, the name Hadramawt means "court of death," reflecting a meaning similar to the Arabic folk etymologies. Scholarly theories of the name's origin are somewhat more varied, but none have gained general acceptance. Juris Zarin's rediscoverer of the city claimed to be the ancient incense route trade capital Uba in Oman, suggested that the name may come from the Greek word delta rho epsilon upsilon mu alpha tau alpha, or enclosed watering stations at wadis. In a Nova interview, he described Uba as a kind of fortress administration center set up to protect the water supply from raiding Bedouin tribes. Surrounding the site, as far as 6 miles away, were smaller villages, which served as small-scale encampments for the caravans. An interesting parallel to this are the fortified waterholes in the eastern desert of Egypt from Roman times. They were called Hadhramaut, though it accurately describes the configuration of settlements in the pre-Islamic Wadi Hadramawt. This explanation for the name is anachronistic and has gained no wider scholarly acceptance. Already in the pre-Islamic period, variations of the name are attested as early as the middle of the first millennium BC. The names Hadhramaut and Hadhrmwt are found in texts of the Old South Arabian languages, though the second form is not found in any known Adramitic inscriptions. In either form, the word itself can be a toponym, a tribal name, or the name of the kingdom of Hadramawt. In the late 4th or early 3rd century BC, Theophrastus gives the name Alpha Delta Rho Rho Alpha Mu Upsilon Tau Alpha, a direct transcription of the Semitic name into Greek. As southern Arabia is the homeland of the South Semitic language subfamily, whose Semitic origin for the name is highly likely. Kamal Salabi proposed an alternative etymology for the name which argues that the diphthong or in the name is an incorrect vocalization. He notes that ut is a frequent ending for place names in the Hadramawt, and given that Hadramawt is the colloquial pronunciation of the name, and apparently also its ancient pronunciation, the correct reading of the name should be place of Hdrm. Quote, he proposes, then, that the name means the green place, which is apt for its well-watered wadis whose lushness contrasts with the surrounding high desert plateau. Geography. Narrowly, Hadhramaut refers to the historical Qa'iti and Qatiri sultanates, which were in the Aden Protectorate overseen by the British resident at Aden until their abolition upon the independence of South Yemen in 1967. The current Governorate of Hadhramaut roughly incorporates the former territory of the two sultanates. It consists of a narrow, arid coastal plain bounded by the steep escarpment of a broad broad plateau, with a very sparse network of deeply sunk wadis. The undefined northern edge of Hadhramaut slopes down to the desert empty quarter. In a wider sense, Hadhramaut includes the territory of Mara to the east all the way to the contemporary border with Oman. This encompasses the current governorates of Hadhramaut and Mara in their entirety, as well as parts of the Shabwa Governorate. The Hadramis live in densely built towns centered on traditional watering stations along the wadis. Hadramis harvest crops of wheat and millet, tend date palm and coconut groves, and grow some coffee. On the plateau, Bedouins tend sheep and goats. Society is still highly tribal, with the old Sayyid aristocracy, descended from the Islamic prophet Muhammad, traditionally educated and strict in their Islamic observance and highly respected in religious and secular affairs. Hadrami diaspora. Since the early 19th century, large-scale Hadhramaut migration has established sizable Hadrami minorities all around the Indian Ocean, in South Asia, Southeast Asia and East Africa, including Hyderabad, Aurangabad, Bhatkal, Bengali, Malabar, Sylhet, Java, Sumatra, Malacca, Sri Lanka, southern Philippines and Singapore. In Hyderabad and Aurangabad, the community is known as Chaush and resides mostly in the neighborhood of Barkas. In Gujarat, the Sarati people reign from Hadhramaut. Several Indonesian ministers, including former Foreign Minister Ali Alatas and former Finance Minister Mari Muhammad, are of Hadrami descent, as is the former Prime Minister of East Timor, Mari Al-Khatiri. Hadramis have also settled in large numbers along the East African coast, and two former ministers in Kenya, Sharif Nasser and Najib Balala, are of Hadrami descent. Genetic evidence has linked the Lemba people, an African Jewish community of Zimbabwe and South Africa, to the people of the Hadhramaut region. Among the Hadhramaut region there has been a historical Jewish population, suggesting both religious and ethnic continuity between Hadramis and the Lemba. Modern history of the Wadi Hadhramaut. The Kuwaiti Sultans ruled the vast majority of Hadhramaut under loose British protectorate, the Aden Protectorate, from 1882 to 1967, when the Hadhramaut was annexed by South Yemen. The Kuwaiti dynasty was founded by Umar bin Avad al-Kuwaiti, a Yafa'i tribesman whose wealth and influence as hereditary Jamadah of the Nizam of Hyderabad's armed forces enabled him to establish the Kuwaiti dynasty in the latter half of the 19th century, winning British recognition of his paramount status in the region. In 1882, the British government and the traditional and scholarly Sultan Ali bin Salah signed a treaty in 1937 appointing the British government as advisors in Hadhramaut. The British exiled him to Aden in 1945, but the protectorate lasted until 1967. In 1967, the former British colony of Aden and the former Aden Protectorate, including Hadhramaut, became an independent communist state, the People's Republic of South Yemen, later the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen. South Yemen was united with North Yemen in 1990 as the Republic of Yemen. See History of Yemen for recent history. The capital and largest city of Hadhramaut is the port Al-Muchella. Al-Muchella had a 1994 population of 122,400 and a 2003 population of 174,700, while the port city of Ashi has grown from 48,600 to 69,400 in the same time. One of the more historically important cities in the region is Tehran, an important locus of Islamic learning. It is estimated to contain the highest concentration of descendants of the Prophet Muhammad anywhere in the world. Economy. Historically, Hadhramaut was known for being a major producer of frankincense. They were mainly exporting it to Mumbai in the early 20th century. The region has also produced senna and coconut.